Yeah, Mr. Kanse, that practice there is basically to check, know your connections and criminal background. Yeah. But, of course, their political affiliation may come up, but, they don't have, they are not asked to recommend that the person's, about the person's political affiliation. No. They gather a dossier on you. Okay, right. Where have you been? Who are your friends? And especially crimes and people you are linked to. Maybe, are you part of... maybe a terrorist cell or no, and all those things. Those are basically, that's a security check, okay, the background check and everything. So that one may not help in that process. So, Mr. Alkanse, the other part of your question is about the Constitution. You read it earlier, yes? You look at Article 44. It just briefly says that a person is not qualified to be appointed a member of the Electoral Commission unless he's qualified to be elected as a member of Parliament. Then you go to membership of Parliament. Not much will come there. There are the issues of if you've been convicted of a crime involving dishonesty, treason, all those. They don't count it. So let's go straight to the point. Mm-hmm. So the straight to the point is that, you see, this Constitution has a certain architecture and key, and it's good Professor Jampo is here, so that's foreign policy is here, so it helps. You see, there is that architecture, the checks and the balances, the spirit of the Constitution. The spirit of the Constitution in several Supreme Court decisions has been held to be general. You're looking at the ideals. So probity, accountability, transparency. You say it. These basically. So let's go to Article 37. You see some of them stated there. And as I've told you, countless Supreme Court decisions. It's as if every time the Supreme Court wants us to know that, look, let's not joke with this Constitution. A lot hangs on our shoulders. So you take the Supreme Court decisions, and lots of them, they talk about their spirit. So look at 37:1. It says that the state shall endeavor to secure and protect a social order founded on the ideals and principles of freedom, equality, justice, probity, and accountability. You see? Probity. So you are talking about integrity, honesty, accountability. You remember we discussed the same topic about 2 weeks ago when they were sworn in, that Saturday. We said that you can't keep your affiliates and surrogates as match commissioners and referee in the game to be played. That's what I said. Let's put it graphically. People are going to play a game, and then the president appoints the match commissioners, the referees, all that, linesmen or assistant. Now you say assistant referees, right? Yes. No, then the game is rigged even before the game starts. The game is rigged even before it starts. And you hear what Yaa Asantewaa said. Yaa Asantewaa granted you an interview, right? Yes. I'm sure now when we say Yaa Asantewaa, you should know that's Sofa Ekufu. Yes. Right? Yes, that's it. And may God bless her for what she's done. Yeah, we'll never forget what Sofa Ekufu is done. All the men that have failed to speak, shame on you. You see, it takes Yaa Asantewaa to now come and lead the war. Painful men are in the house. Now, when we are looking for men, people will get up. But when we are looking for real men to talk, they are quiet. But if you say physical men, you will see some people, oh, we are men. But when you really have to talk, show that you are real men, you can't talk. You see, so now Yaa Asantewaa is leading us. Hear what Yaa Asantewaa said. He says, in the appointment, do it in such a way that no political party is disadvantaged. That's what she said. If you watch the Ghana web thing.
In fact, we spoke to her exclusively.
Excellent.
We have that video.
Say, do the appointment.
Let's hear the former Chief Justice.
In such a way that nobody is disadvantaged. And when we say conflict of interest, so we are talking about conflict here. So, Madam Tijani, Salima Ahmed Tijani, her mom is a High Commissioner to Nigeria. Oh, come on. What are you saying? High Commissioner to Nigeria. Is it just, there's a political connection. There's a political connection. So how is she going to be independent? So you see why we come back to what Gabi himself advocated years ago, 2016. Was it 2015, 2016?
So her mom was.
That the mom was. I hear is. If it was, it's still the same thing. Yes. But we don't deny that it is High Commissioner to Nigeria, right? Yes. So that's it. That's a connection. And as for Dr. Ituya, I'm sure everybody agrees. So much overwhelming evidence. So then we still have to go back to Gabi's own proposal.
Yeah.
Gabi proposed in 2016 that in appointing EC chair and those people, let's have a public, people who are interested should apply. They will be interviewed publicly. And then let's add this. So at that time, the idea was that the CSO should vote. Yeah. I'm thinking that now let's go beyond the CSOs, increase the electoral college. Let's do online voting. Citizens can vote. So you see, for some weeks now, I've been going back to the principle that let's go back to ancient Greece, where we take a lot of inspiration from this democracy. So they will tell you that Western democracy is in the what? Footnotes of Plato. Yeah, that's the writing. You hear, Prof, you can add if they say. You often hear people say that Western democracy is built on the footnotes of Plato. So you read Plato's writings. Of course, he was trying to record Socrates, right? Yeah. And all that, the things that they suggested. So you read those books and you see what the democracy they were practicing there. Even when it was direct, the people who go into the assembly and vote directly. Socrates saw a lot of things wrong with democracy. That time it was direct too. They would go into the assembly, debate, and then vote. It wasn't this representational democracy we are doing now. So that now Honorable Akwa is representing the people of Achimota and the rest. No. It was direct democracy. They go into the assembly, and then people vote. Of course, there, when you follow the history, you see that some people were always docile. They will not participate, right? But now you see, we live in a different generation. We are eager to participate, but we don't want any partisan labels. So, in this moving forward, let's have our own voting for the EC commissioners, the independent constitutional bodies. We have to vote for them as citizens. Online voting. Online, let's not restrict to CSOs. And Gabi birthed this idea that the CSO should be involved in choosing them.
So who selects the persons who are going to be eventually voted for by the populace?
Good. So I think the original idea was that people should apply. So then there can be a screening, winnowing process. Maybe
but I think if you look at the commission, the Constitutional Review Commission's report, I think there are some recommendations after they had also done extensive nationwide public consultations. There are better recommendations as to how some of these things can be done. If we had truly had an independent Council of State, they would have counted the exercise of some
what
of
we have is not.
no, a council, as I explained earlier on, our Council of State members are oftentimes either beholden to a president or the president is not obliged to listen to them. So they may have
a clear Supreme Court decision that the advice is not binding on the president. It's not binding.
They may have even advised the president.
Yes, good. So, listen, let me read what Sophia Kufu said. It's very important.
In fact, let's play that video.
With Yasantwa, God bless you. Yasantwa is saving Ghana. The others have to get up. The professors in the university, the retired, other retired judges.
For the public service. Public service is anything that the citizens' money, the taxpayers' money goes into. That's part of public service. And the conflict of interest is something which always can be dealt with, whether it is written in black and white or not. If somebody feels that somebody has a conflict of interest, and conflict of interest does not necessarily have to be actual, it can be potential. And so it's up to the public to see what they want to do about it. If it's okay with them, why not? That's all I can say. So even Codeo could even take the matter to court if they want to. Yes.
You think that what the public is saying about them being politically exposed is really true? With your experience?
Me, I'm not a politician, and so I don't know what goes on. All I know is that the only thing I can do is maybe analogy on the bench. If there's somebody you've worked with before, or you're about to maybe serve on a very important committee with, you'll be interacting very actively. if they have a matter before you, it's up to you to decide whether you will recuse yourself or not. For me, I would recuse myself, not because it's likely to influence me, but also in the justice or doing the right thing in public service. A lot of it also depends on public perception.
The former Chief Justice there, and it complements that the point you were making, that a lot of these issues borders on public perception.
Yes. Yes.
That's key.
Yes, and you remember, like we were saying, the last time there was one day I mentioned the Caesar's wife's test. We don't want any cloud of suspicion. And I think Prof made that point. So Caesar's wife's test is that the moment there's a cloud of suspicion, you come in as a party foot soldier, we would think that the outcome is going to be rigged because you're a party foot soldier. Don't come in. There are enough neutrals in Ghana that we can, get these commissioners from. You say, so you don't do that because you see that Julius Caesar, that story where the Caesar's wife, because of that suspicion that his wife had committed adultery, he said, look, even the fact that you have created this situation where there's a suspicion around you, I'm divorcing you. He divorced her. I don't want my wife to be under this suspicion. So order your steps in such a way that there's no suspicion around you. So, but in this case where Kodoyo has gathered clear evidence, and here CJ Ekufu saying that they can go to court. So I think the first step we have to do, and I was at that function where Chief Justice Sofa Ekufu moderated the session. Listen, Lawyer Okujitu made a submission earlier. It's not specific about Kodoyo, but he repeated this point we've all been making here, that the Ghanaian citizen, we've abdicated our roles. We've become so timid. He made that point. Citizens are not asking for accountability. You've sat home, you are not protesting enough. You want to protest in the comfort of your living room. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. All it takes for you to also step out, just announce as a citizen that you're going to police, just write to police, that one-man demonstration, you are writing to the police that you want to demonstrate against President Akufo-Addo's appointment of party apparatchiki into the EC. And you see how many of us will come and support you. You just step out. You just need a simple letter. The nearest police station, you write to them, please, one-man demonstration. I intend to demonstrate against President Akufo-Addo. Yeah, I'm thinking about, Oliver Bakavomawo wants to do one on 1st July. I'll call him after and we'll see. But July looks far. Maybe we should do one in the next 3 weeks. Yes, we can do one. Another because we can't sit down. Look, Ghanaians, we can't continue to sit like this. That's not what Kwame Nkrumah did. If Kwame Nkrumah had been this docile, you wouldn't have had independence.
Okay.
Yes.